Hello and welcome back. This is Orcs Must Die series presented by myself, our Sexmo, where we play Orcs Must Die on Nightmare and just trying to achieve the 5 skulls. So I believe this is level 7, Twin Halls. That's when you first get the spring trap, as you can see up on the screen. Now this one gave me a little bit of trouble. I don't remember it being, because I had played it on Nightmare before and gotten the 5 skulls, but doing it this time around for the video, for some reason I just couldn't get it right. So I had to stray from my normal sort of strategy on this one, but that's all right. It gets a little bit tight at some places. So here you can see I'm kind of deciding. I do pick the decoy, which is something I normally don't go for. I normally prefer using the pallet. Oh, there's my Steam pops up for a second. It's one of the drawbacks of playing on Steam, but anyway. I do normally prefer the Guardians over the decoy, but they weren't kind of panning out for me last time. So I know for these, well, we'll just talk about the level first of all. It's sort of the opposite to what we're used to, where you have one exit and goes to 2 points. This is two entrances and then funnels into one. And as you can see, I know that there was a frost ogre on the first round, so I knew to save money to charm him. Now I'm building a row of springs, and this is one of the techniques I use to sort of gain a bit more time in Nightmare, is not kill a stray orc, to actually run around and try and place some traps. Now this second wave is, I believe, identical to the first, except that it happens on both sides. I'm not sure whether or not an ogre comes, but that's why I set up the traps on the other side, because I'm mostly relying on my ogre and my traps to defend that side. As you can tell, he's doing quite well, so I just give him a little bit of a hand. But what was important to note on that was at the start of the wave, I sort of delayed it and held it off with me fighting using the lightning ring, then coming over to help my ogre, ensure he had it all up to scratch. And as you can see here, I've let one ogre slip through, just so I can, take the time to actually place my traps before taking care of him. Without doing that, I was having quite a bit of difficulty on this map on Nightmare. So I don't know if this is the best strategy. I've picked to steal the traps, and so I'm basically going to solo one side of the channel and let the traps and the charmed ogre take care of the other one. And that's just while I can build up my defenses. So what I'll do is, at the start of each push, he just ninja'd over from the other side. Don't know if you saw that, flying orc. But yeah, so I can see on the mini-map that the ogre's dead, it's been broken through, so I'm just trying to use the wind ability, push him out. Now here I'm running back, and I know it's not looking good, so I've got the decoy up and ready. I know where to place it, put it there, and yeah, see, here's the big bunch of orcs that managed to break through my charm ogre. So I'm going to take care of this. I do want to keep the decoy up. I mean, I could leave it, let them destroy it, and it would be okay. But I mean, even if the decoy lives in 1 health, then he's going to be able to blow another bunch of orcs later, which, Duty Joe intended. And yeah, the other cluster manages to catch up, and this is where it's quite close. But as you can see, they naturally funneled through there, and by putting myself where I put myself between the blob of ogres and the rift, they came towards me in one sort of blob, so to speak. Now I'm placing the archers here. It's probably, yeah, see, I was going to say that wasn't a good idea, but I know 2 ogres come at the start of this, and hopefully the charms take care of it. And on this side is another blob, so jump over, just take care of them with an AoE and sort of thin out the numbers a bit. I mean, it's okay to let 1 or 2 go through, just as long as you remember to deal with them later. So I'm over here, I'm checking out what my charmed ogres are up to. So I happen to charm a crossbow instead of both the ogres, so I've rectified that. And once again, I'm just going to rely on the traps and the charm mobs on this side. And there we go, this one has gone through. So relying on traps on one side and then using myself on the other. And here we go, since I'm back here, I'm just throwing down the decoys for extra defense, because I know they're going to line break me later, although that meant I didn't have enough money to charm these two. But that's okay, I just used the frost to take them out, which is a standard way to deal with the ogres. So I'm just keeping an eye on the right hand side and making sure that that's not getting overrun in the mini-map. So yeah, so I'm fairly comfortable I can handle this push, this wave. But I should be looking to bolster up the left hand side with traps with the next sort of lot of money I get. I also just now noticed I haven't really been upgrading my weavers, which is something I probably could have done. I know I've gone for the trap based one, but on this map I've just focused on trying to kill the orcs rather than the macro up on the money or anything like that, considering you got to pay attention to sort of both sides at the same time, and just always look at the eye on the mini map, just make sure things aren't getting overrun, or you can just look over. I mean, I catch a glimpse here on the other side and see everything's kind of okay. I can see the green dot and see that nothing's actually up against the green dot, which is my ogre, so I know he's not fighting anything, so he's kind of okay. So now I'm a little bit more comfortable because I'm finally starting to, I've got 5k money and I can just lay traps for Africa, so to speak. Not that they really want traps, I suppose. But yeah, the brimstone works really good here to thin out the numbers before they hit the traps. Now one thing that I could have been doing is upgrade the traps so they were effective on ogres. I mean, there's not that many in this level, but on certain levels you definitely need to get that upgrade if you go in the trap tree. So yeah, just looking at the mini map, seeing the dots fly across, I know that everything's well. There's one on the other side. Oh no, the ogre he got flung across. So up here I'm finally putting the defenders up here where they can kind of shoot on both sides, most utilized. I feel though now that the majority of the harder waves are kind of sort of over with, because I have got traps and brimstones and the archers up on both sides. So getting to that point was the hardest part, and you just got to make sure that you're always spending your money and always upgrading your sides. If you've got traps and charm mobs on one, then your attention's going to have to be on the other one. So here's some sapper mobs, but I got the archers up the top to deal with them. I feel a lot more comfortable having them. I just place a few more on this side, and I notice I've got no more charm mobs over here, and I've got a mushroom up though, so that's kind of okay. I'll keep that in mind in case another ogre pops on that side. So yeah, so it's just a case of using the portals and jumping back from left and right, and just making sure that no side gets overrun. So yeah, I found this one pretty intense. I had to give it a couple goes and try a couple of different combinations. It's not the most elegant way of doing it, and it's very hands-on. Once again there, I just spent on 2 brimstone traps when I could have spent it on charm. So there's 3 ogres, it's quite a lot, and look, I don't have the upgrade to work on traps, and that would have been, if I had that upgrade, that would have just taken care of those 3, so that's something I probably would have changed, to get that upgrade rather than a couple of archers. But yeah, I know from experience that what's happening on this side is soon to happen on the other. This is where it gets pretty close. I know this is the final push. I can see in the mini map there's a dot that's almost at the rift, but he's being distracted by that decoy I had there earlier. That's why it was good that I saved it and didn't let it die. I can tell coming on the right hand side again, it's the 2 ogres. I've got money for charms and decoys. I've decided to go with the charms. Luckily that decoy took care of that set of ogres, and I know there's still a small final push to come, but they're following in, and it's just normal orcs on that side, so just plant the AoE and a decoy and they're happy to deal with that. I've got an ogre on that side going for gold for me on that front, and yeah, I managed just to kind of scrape through on this one. It wasn't, like I said, the most elegant, but we got there in the end. I'm not sure if the score is any good, I highly doubt it, but yeah, they get more interesting from here on, so stay tuned.